Hey everybody, happy Torch Thursday live tutorial. Yes, it is both a stamping and a soldering tutorial tonight. That means that there is an equal chance that I will break a thumb and or light something on fire. Possibly both.
I vote neither.
Well,
honestly.
that's fine, but you're not teaching this tutorial, so therefore...
I'm not, but I still get votes.
Well, but do you?
I say I do.
Okay. Heather is expressing a strong preference.
Yeah.
That I neither break a bone nor set anything on fire, but I do not know that I can actually commit to that. That may be too much.
Fine.
For me wait.
At least I expressed my preferences.
Hold on, I'm having a grammatical thing. Okay, that might be too much for me to commit to. That's incorrect grammar.
That's okay.
But how would you say it properly? That might be too much.
To which I might commit.
To which I can commit? Okay. Sorry, my grammar brain just had a moment there. Yeah.
Yay for grammar brains.
I'm sorry, sometimes the dangling participle is just easier. And by sometimes I mean all the time.
Yes.
Every once in a while I think I confuse people sometimes. That was a lot of sometimes. But anyway, I think I confuse people occasionally by avoiding dangling participles.
No one
they don't
really
quite
cares
know
anymore.
what to do with that. I know, no one
I think
really
if you're
cares
maybe
anymore,
engraving something, it might.
but...
Don't stamp any dangling participles or split infinitives, okay?
I now officially want to engrave something that says my infinitives are split and my participles dangle proudly.
But it needs to be grammatically incorrect.
So anyway, hey, welcome. Hey people, welcome to the Beading Dream stream. How y'all doing tonight? Because obviously Heather and I are punchy already. Thankfully it's not a sale night, so you only have to deal with my punchiness for the next 30 or 40 minutes, and she's just off-screen punchy. So anyway, what are we doing tonight? We are doing this. This is our one-word ring. Okay, so this is a simple, seriously, very simple stamping and soldering tutorial where you can make a fun ring that has a has a word of your choice stamped upon it. So of course your first task in this type of project is to decide what do you want to stamp on your ring, and that is harder than you might think. I haven't actually decided yet, but I have a few more minutes to let my brain process, because let's talk tools and supplies for this evening's tutorial. Okay, so you are going to need wire and sheet metal. Now, when you're fabricating, your metal options are going to be sterling silver, 14 karat gold, brass, bronze, copper. Yes, you can successfully... All right. Oh, yep, Lori wins. Got my word. Thank you, Lori. So yes, you can successfully solder gold filled, but a lot of times when you solder gold filled, what happens is you scorch the I have an adult only word that I need to make a ring of, but I had already decided for this stream I was gonna do a PG word, so Lori wins. I will stamp the word peace on this ring.
That is even G.
Yeah, it's true. It is. So yeah. I mean, peace. It's just G. Like there's no P. There's no dashes. There's no X's. There's no NC's involved. It's crazy. But anyway, so yes, you can successfully solder on gold filled, and yes, some people are really good at it. With something like this that's such a big piece, in big being, you know, a relative term, I just feel like if you try and do it in Goldfield, you're going to wind up with a lot of weird splotchiness on your metal. So I'm going with sterling silver. So I've got sterling silver sheet metal, 24 gauge, and I've got some 14 gauge sterling silver wire. So the first, and then let's talk tools. I left all my pliers over there.
What you need?
My pliers from over there.
But which ones? I've got
all of them. The round nose and the chain nose and the cutters of the wires. Poor favor. So anyway, so you're gonna need, you're gonna need
Sorry,
an
I handed
angel.
you the stabby ends.
You did actually.
I did.
She totally handed them to me like this.
It was
all
it
the
was
stabby
poor,
ends first. It
poor
was bad planning.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna need your basic wire working tools. So that's gonna be a chain nose pliers and a round nose pliers and a wire cutter. You are also going to need your soldering tools. That is going to be a torch. Of course, I have my Blazer Butane, my favorite torch. You're going to need a soldering surface. I've got my solderite board. Right, don't ask her to hand me a knife. You're going to need letter stamps. That's a really old price for letter stamps, by the way. You're going to need a hammer with which to smash the letter stamps, and I'm going to attempt to get my brass Deadblow hammer down without murdering Heather.
And you did it! Even though I tried to murder you.
Nice, me. So these brass Deadblow hammers are awesome. The reason that they're awesome is because the brass actually absorbs some of the force of your blow and makes it, and because it's so soft, makes it less likely that you're just going to skip off the top of your stamp. So if you just have some money that's burning a hole in your bank account, brass Deadblow hammer is an awesome thing to buy. They are not light though. They're heavy. So but you need something to hit your stamps with. Now, if you don't have a brass hammer, a plain old household hammer will do just fine. What you don't want to do is you don't want to use your chasing hammer. You know why? Because if you hit your chasing hammer on your stamps, the head of it's going to wind up looking like that. Because somebody here did hit this chasing hammer on something they weren't supposed to at some point in the past. And the thing about it is now this is not just a smooth chasing hammer. This is actually now an inadvertent texturing hammer, because all of that texture will transfer itself to your metal. Wait. It's okay, Lori. We like teasing on this stream. If Heather hands me a knife, I just, you know. Hi, Corvus. Yay, it's a Corvus.
Corvus's nails look so good.
Wait, what? Did she post them on Discord? I didn't see them.
No, I got them in a private message.
What? That's not fair, Corvus.
Okay, so Corvus, you should post your nails in Discord.
You should post your nails in Discord. It's not fair that Heather gets to see your nails and that the rest of us do. What the heck?
It's true.
I'm cool.
You're okay for right now?
Who, me?
Yeah.
In what way?
Are you not okay for right now?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm just confused by the question. I thought I was doing fine, and now I'm wondering if I'm, like, you know, somehow spiraling out of control in some way. But anyway, so continuing on with tools for this evening's tutorial, wherever the heck I was. Okay, so hand tools, torch, soldering surface, hammer and stamps, also stamping surface, which is going to be my steel bench block. You're going to need a ring mandrel, because we are, of course, making a ring. A rawhide mallet is never a bad idea when you're doing something like this. Don't light it on fire, just saying. You're going to need a Sharpie for a couple of reasons. You're going to need a metal shears. A straight edge is helpful, but not 100% necessary. However, a ruler is necessary, preferably one that measures in millimeters, and going back to supplies, in addition to sheet and wire, you're going to need solder, and we're going to use easy solder for tonight. Flex, I already said, pickle in a pickle pot, which I'm not actually using tonight because I'm being lazy, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other things that I forgot, and I'll let you know when I remember what I forgot. It's okay, Smee. I know you have to feed your bead addiction, even though you're far away from us now. So it's not fair to us to make you wait and save all of your bead energy for your Dallas visits, because it's just not nice. That's not nice of you to, you know, move away to another city. But anyway, I'm going to shake this off, and we're going to make a ring. Okay, so the word is peace. Okay, thanks to Lori for giving us that word. So I'm going to take my bench block. Hey, look, there's my camera staring at my bench block. I'm going to grab my piece of sheet silver. Okay, so the goal here is to just stamp all your letters straight in a line across, which means I'm going to need to grab my stamp. Also, I'm probably... I'm going to hit my camera. Because I didn't make it... I should have made it higher. Should have gotten my camera high, y'all. One. Alright, so P, E, A, C, and the E again. Alright, so I've got all my letters pulled. So I am going to have to do this off camera because I totally did not fix my camera setup for stamping. But when you're stamping, a couple of things. First of all, stamp on the flattest possible metal. So see how that metal is curling there? It's going to be easiest if I stamp away from that. When you're stamping, you're going to have a printed side of your stamp. Depending on who manufactured your stamp set, it's going to depend upon what's printed on there. On this one, you've got your letter and a little notch for your thumb. Sometimes you just have the branding of the manufacturer of your stamp. But the point is, whatever is going on with your stamps, as long as you put the printing towards yourself, your letter will be right side up. When you're stamping, you want to hold at the base of your stamp and you want to press down firmly into your metal with both your stamp and your fingers. Okay, so I've got this and I'm pressing firmly into my metal. Now here's the thing is, okay, yeah, no, there's literally no way I can hit this and not hit my camera. So sorry, y'all. Bad choices on my part. But I'm going to take my hammer and I'm going to hit it. I'm going to catch it as it almost falls into my lap. And here we have... This evening's stream is brought to you by the letter P. Now, there's a little trick for getting your letters lined up, and it involves tape, which I don't have, so BRB. Sorry. For what? Stop it. Yes, ma'am. Everyone please tell Heather to stop being sorry for things that are not her fault. Can one stamp on stainless steel? So I've not had much luck stamping on stainless steel. There are lots of great aluminum and other alloy blanks that you can get pretty commonly out there, but stainless is a little bit on the harder side, and sometimes, you know, you want things to be on the harder side, but when you're stamping, not so much. So here's my trick for keeping everything lined up. So if you take a piece of tape and essentially make it the baseline for your stamp, then what you can do is you can literally just bring your stamp down your metal, and when you feel it catch on the tape, then you know that you're on the same baseline as your previous letter. You do have to be a little bit sensitive on that because you can very easily kind of overrun that. But the cool thing about hand stamping is that it's supposed to look hand did. So, you know, if people wanted things that were made by a machine, then they could go buy things that were made by a machine. But what we have now is hand stamped piece right there. Okay, so I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to put away my stamps. Okay, this is one of those things that, like, you don't realize what a pain in the butt it is when people don't put away the stamps until you're like, where is the letter Q? Who took the letter Q? Where did it go? I'm not even joking. That actually was a situation that happened here at Beading Dreams. We finally, how long was it like 2 years?
It was a long time.
Yeah, like literally the letter Q went on walkabout for like 2 years. So the moral, it was in with the texture stamps, yes. But the moral of the story is put your stamps away when you're done using them. I'm getting off my soapbox and going back to teaching. Okay, so now I've got my words stamped, so I'm gonna just draw myself kind of a little rough line of where I'm gonna cut them out, and I'm going to grab my metal shears, which were not on the list of tools for tonight, so metal shears, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut out my stamped piece. Now, could you cut this out first and then stamp on it, or could you stamp on a pre-cut blank? The answer to both of those questions is absolutely yes. However, stamping first and then cutting allows you to kind of manipulate your cutting around your stamping, which I personally find is easier than trying to manipulate your stamping around your cutting. I mean, basically, like, you can stamp this as wonkily as, you know, as you need to or as you're able to, and then you can go ahead and take your cutting and you can sort of even it up, true it up, etc. Whereas if you're dealing with a prefab area, then you got to be a little more precise. And my answer to Amy's question is I drooled while sleeping well before I started taking trazodone.
Yeah, I'm happy to blame trazodone. Yes.
I mean, I'm gonna go with I blame trazodone because now I drool while sleeping as opposed to, you know, being obsessively awake and scrolling on my phone.
See, that's pretty exciting.
Sleep is good. All right.
We're sexy even if we drool.
Okay. Maybe you.
No, it's true for you.
No.
True for me, it's absolutely.
No, you're just saying that because I wasn't drooling at the dinner table. I bet if I had been drooling, then your story would be very different. So, by the way.
I've never seen anyone be so pretty when they fall asleep.
Yeah, so, okay,
I
so.
fell asleep on the airplane and I look like I might be having a seizure.
So confession time. So, a couple weeks ago, when Ace was here, I invited everyone. Ace was at my house, of course. I made dinner for Ace and Heather and her cousin Terry, who's amazing, and her cousin Terry's husband, who is also super sweet and really tall.
He's 6'8".
Yeah. Like, he walked into my house and I was like, hi! Literally. It was a little insane. But, unfortunately, that was my day with my mom, Tuesday. And I was so mentally engaged with being on time to my mom's that I forgot to take my morning meds. So I realized this mid-afternoon, and so I know this about myself, so I carry my morning meds with me in a little pill box just in case I forget to take them. So I took all my morning meds, which would be my antidepressants and my allergy meds. And then because I was with my mom and I was having a panic attack, I also took a Xanax at about 3 in the afternoon, which is normally I take them 8 or 9 a.m. So then I get home from my mom's and proceed to cook dinner for everyone. Of course, while I'm cooking dinner, I may have had an adult beverage or two. And so then as I'm sitting at the dinner table, I literally fell asleep at the dinner table. Like on my hand, fell asleep. The only reason I know this is because Heather told me, because I was too busy falling asleep, of course, to remember the situation.
It was adorable.
But she has the cutest narration of how I looked while I was falling asleep. Thanks to Heather and Ace.
Do you need me to demonstrate?
I mean, you're going to have to be on camera. Do you want
I don't have any makeup, but that's
all right,
okay.
There's a Heather demo of how I fell asleep. Your full screen.
Okay, so Allison had this absolutely beatific smile on her face, and she was just...
Apparently the blinks just kept getting longer and longer.
Her blinks increased logarithmically. And finally I was like, "You okay?" And she said, "Oh, I think I just need a little lie down." Still smiling. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It was amazing. We're like, "Okay, let's get you to lie down."
Thankfully, we were in my house, so which is not very big. So it was a whopping 30 feet to the bed.
Yeah.
Where I promptly collapsed. And
so cute though.
And
my gosh.
thanks to Heather and Ace for finishing up the hosting duties of the evening and packing up the food.
Am I off camera now?
Now you are.
Okay.
So yes. Anyway, that was a bit of a digression from the soldering project, but yeah, that was my
really cute.
yeah. So the moral of the story, children, is do not take all of your behavioral meds and allergy meds all at the same time and then have a gin and tonic. I mean, at least I cooked dinner before I fell asleep.
She cooked an amazing dinner.
But yeah,
the first thing I noticed was that you weren't eating your amazing dinner. And then I noticed that your blinks were longer and longer.
And then you noticed that I was asleep on my hand.
And then
Yeah.
I was like, her blinks aren't stopping now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so the Midwestern part of me, of course, was just horrified by the fact that I, invited people to dinner and then fell asleep at the dinner table. But
luckily, all the people were like, "Oh, medicine this house? Absolutely."
Yeah, seriously. And no, nobody took pictures. There's no evidence of this. So if anybody tries to get my Midwesternness revoked because I fell asleep at the dinner table while hostessing, you have no evidence to present in a court of law.
It's true, but I'm happy to do a reenactment.
No! You're not allowed to testify if they're trying to get my Midwesternness revoked.
I wasn't going to testify. Gosh, no. You're not going to get your Midwesternness or Southernness revoked.
Oh, I don't know if I have any Southernness. Except for y'all. Y'all is definitely in the water. Like, as soon as you cross the Mason-Dixon and start drinking the water, you start saying y'all. So anyway, let's go back to this project, which we still have to finish. Okay, so I stamped the word. Now I need to get rid of these stabby edges, which means I need a file. Alright, Alright, Ace can verify I am Midwestern till I die. Though, last night, there was a great Heather clip involving Midwesternness, and I need to download that so that I can play it on demand whenever I need a laugh. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock down these corners with my file. So I'm just going to take my file and I'm going to get rid of the stabby bits. And then since this is, okay, so I rounded out all the corners. Since this is going to be a ring, I want to make sure that I have done everything I possibly can to get rid of. So anybody who wants to see Heather being Midwestern, click on that link that Ace just posted in the Twitch chat. Also, once again, Artsy, Crocky, Pangolin, Kappa Pride. Twitch's algorithm is whack sometimes. So, since this is going to be a ring, I don't want any stabby or slashy bits on it. This is not a ziggy ring that we are making here, so I'm just going to go ahead and sand my edges. And then once you've sanded, if you're still looking at that and being like, this does not feel nice, steel wool. All right, 000 or quadruple 0 steel wool will help with that. Okay, so now it's time to make our actual ring. So we are going to refer back to our Contenti ring sizing chart. My favorite ring sizing chart, which means that I need to like figure out where all my technology is going and put that up in the Twitch chat. Okay, most of y'all are watching on that platform. So, Contenti is a findings company, and they have this awesome ring sizing chart, which hopefully my MooBot command is still yes. Okay, so click on that link that just went up in the Twitch chat for the chart that is going to tell you how long you should excuse you? No image available? Are you serious? Wow. Okay, it's really, well, that's okay. Hold on, I'll find it. It's just really unfortunate when entities change the addresses for their reference materials, so that when you have the command set, it doesn't work. Okay, this should be the exactly the same link. And yet that one, okay, it's seriously.
It isn't the same. Ring sizing chart, the first one has
underscores instead. Ugh. Really? Why did they? So anyway, use the second link, or the third link actually, because I tried twice with the one that didn't work, to try and get it to work. And now we've got my very favoriteest ring sizing chart out there. The reason I love this one from Contenti is because it takes into account the thickness of the metal that you're using to make the ring, and a lot of the charts out there don't. A lot of the charts are just like, you know, if you're doing a size 7, it should be this many millimeters, and it's like, no, because the thickness of the metal actually makes a difference. So here we go with, let's start by measuring the size of your word. So my word, and this is all, unfortunately for us United Statesers, in millimeters. So 17 millimeters is what my word measures. Now I'm going to have a little bit of overlap because I'm going to solder my wire on the bottom side of this, and I'm going to overlap a millimeter on each side. So that actually works out really well for me because it gives me 15 millimeters. And I'm going to go to my chart and I'm going to see what size do I want to make. I'm going to go with a size 7. As far as the thickness goes, I'm just going to go with my wire, which is, Lord knows, somewhere on my work surface, which is a 14 gauge. So I'm going to go size 7, 14 gauge, go across. That's 59.1 millimeters minus my 15. So we're going to call that 45 millimeters just for ease of... yes, Amy, she does. Just for ease of measuring. So we're going to call it 45 millimeters. So that is to what length I'm going to cut this piece of wire. Though, Amy, what are you going to send my mom for her birthday? I'm all right, so 45 millimeters is 4.5 centimeters, right? Because both our moms Pisces. I think I remember that. So did your mom have a big old conniption fit about something on her birthday? Because I'm pretty sure my mom was going to. All right, 45 millimeters. Okay, so this is my ring shank. This is my ring design element, and now we're going to solder these together. So it means I'm going to grab my soldering surface, and I'm going to take my design element, I'm going to put it face down, and I'm going to flux it. So flux is a chemical that prevents our metal from oxidizing while we are heating it. This is what allows our soldering process to work. So flux is very important to the soldering process. I use Handy Flux, which is a paint on paste flux. There are lots of fluxes out there. Sorry, Heather may have just almost killed me. It's okay. I can remember how to breathe. Maybe.
You should do that.
Okay. Not choking. Mostly not choking. Okay, so flux keeps your metal from oxidizing while you're heating it, which is what allows your soldering process to happen. So in addition to the flux on my metal, I'm going to go ahead and grab my easy solder, and I'm going to cut myself a small piece of my easy solder. I'm actually going to cut 2 because I'm eventually going to need 2. But I just need 1 for now. Okay. "100% have the hiccups on stream." What, hiccups?
Yes, on stream.
No, it's not.
No.
Not if you're the one who has the hiccups. If you're...
For us.
if you're, yeah, thank you. If you're the one who's watching the person with the hiccups.
Yeah, hiccups are no fun. Hiccups are no fun.
Hiccups hurt everyone. Yep. Okay, so I went ahead and I put my piece of solder on one side of my stamped metal bit, and now I'm going to go ahead and heat my whole metal piece until that solder flows. Now, please be advised, do this safely. Okay, there are things you should think about, like make sure you keep 6 to 8 inches of clear space around your torch. Make sure you avoid touching objects in your workspace after you've had a torch going. Ventilation is important. Make sure you know where your fire extinguisher is, and if you're not actively using your torch, turn it off. Okay, so what I just accomplished is what's called sweating your solder onto your metal. So basically, I heated my solder until it melted onto my metal. Now, I'm going to grab my piece of wire that I cut from my ring shank. So, remember, I cut allowing a 1 millimeter overlap. That means that I need to position this on my metal so that 1 millimeter of my wire is overlapping my metal. Now what I'm going to do is heat everything until that solder reflows and bonds my wire to my metal. And now you got a heat sink going with this long piece of wire, so don't forget to heat the whole thing. And then concentrate on that joint until that solder reflows, and there we go. So now what I have is my solder has joined my stamped piece and my wire. My stamped piece, that's a pun. Now if I were smart enough to have some quench water, I could quench this, but of course I don't, so I'm just going to let this cool down naturally. Meanwhile, I'm going to chat a little bit about what's coming up on the Beading Dream stream while this piece of metal cools. So tomorrow is Freeform Friday. There is a more than likely chance that we will be at work tomorrow. There's a chance of snow in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for about an hour in the afternoon. I don't think that's going to interfere with our operations that much, so I should be streaming from here tomorrow, which means I'm going to be doing a torch project tomorrow for Freeform Friday. If I am streaming from home, then we will be doing a non-torch project because nobody likes feline flambe. Again, button list phrase, thank you, Kenneth. And then Saturday we will absolutely be back in the store as the weather's supposed to calm down by then. So Saturday we're going to be doing this tutorial. This is our mandala medallion pendant. It's one of the few seed bead tutorials that I have out there. So we're going to be doing that tutorial followed by a live merchandise sale featuring, of course, new merchandise. So that's what's upcoming on the Beading Dream stream, and this piece of metal is still kind of warm, but cool enough that I can touch it. So I'm going to work on finishing this ring for y'all. So I'm going to take, so this piece of wire is firmly soldered onto my center piece. I'm going to take my 14 gauge wire and I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm just going to bend that around. And this is going to make, no, that would be a waste of cider. Alright, this is going to make a not very pretty shape. Okay, so what's going to happen is your sheet metal is going to bend at the weakest point and it's just going to look like this weird kind of mushroomy Hobbit house. Hi, Megan! I was just talking about the fact that I didn't have any quench water for my ring, and Heather was basically saying sorry not sorry.
Yes.
About not offering me her adult beverage to quench my ring in. Okay, so I'm going to bend this around so that now this other piece of wire is contacting my center piece. That says piece. And notice that this shape at the moment bears little to no resemblance to a ring. That's okay. We'll fix that in a little bit. I just want to make sure that there's enough flux there, so I'm just going to dab a little bit extra on there. And then I'm going to grab my piece of solder that I cut, my second piece of solder that I cut, and I'm just going to set it on there so that it is in a position to be pulled up into this joint right here. Now we're going to heat. So I'm going to heat everything, and ideally what's going to happen is you can see the solder right down there. When I heat it enough, it's going to pull up and join this ring to this centerpiece. And there we go. Did you see it? It just went right up. It didn't actually make that sound, but
are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I made that sound. Okay, so this is our ring.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go ahead and let it cool. Again, here's a trick. If you're like me and you can never remember to get yourself some quench water to sit by your soldering station, if you put your piece on something that is steel, that's like a bench block or a ring mandrel, and just let it sit there for a minute, the steel will actually leach the heat away from it significantly faster than if you let it sit, say, on your soldering board. So by putting this on my ring mandrel, it's going to be cool to the touch like now. That's significantly sooner than it would have been had I just left it sitting on my solder board. So that's a really good trick that my very first soldering teacher, who was an amazing, why don't I have, I've got no sound. There's now I have sound. Yay. My sound just took a moment. It was like, dink. Nope. So anyway,
how was that?
It would dink, but not like, it was dink with no noise.
I like it when you say dink.
But anyway, my first soldering teacher, who was an absolute doll, taught me that trick. And what commercial?
Well, when Megan joined, there would have been a commercial.
Oh, got it. That's fair. Okay, so now my ring is cool enough to touch. Now it's time to actually shape it into a ring shape as opposed to this weird wonky shape that it's currently in. And this is where our rawhide mallet comes into play. So a rawhide mallet or nylon mallet, rubber mallet, any of these things will allow you to use percussive force to shape your piece without actually changing the size of it or adding texture to the surface. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rawhide mallet, I'm going to put this on my ring mandrel, and I'm going to hammer it into a round shape. I'm going to hope that this is actually the size that I wanted it to be. Don't be afraid to whack it. Haha, alright, I was going for a size 7, and it looks like a 7 is actually where I wound up, which is awesome. When you're shaping this ring, don't be afraid to hit the corners here, because what this does when you hit the corners is it contributes to your nice round shape and the ring that is going to feel nice to wear. So the last thing I need to do is grab me some steel wool and buff this up. Okay, I don't need, that was a lot of steel wool. I don't need that much steel wool. Now, I could also, if I wanted this to be super shiny, I could pickle it and then tumble it, but I'm just gonna go the quick and dirty way with some steel wool. And this way is going to benefit me because it's gonna leave some oxide in my letters that I don't have to reapply, which is nice. If you go the route of pickling, and tumbling, it's going to shine everything up to the point where it's going to be hard to distinguish your letters. So if you do that, all you're going to do is take a black Sharpie, color your letters back in, and then just use some rubbing alcohol to clean up the surface. But for now, I'm just going to use my steel wool to clean up all of the oxide. Yes, that's my steel wooling face, everybody. Just in case anyone was wondering. What does Allison's face look like when she's using steel wool? That's it right there. Alright, and there we go. That's our one word ring. So our word for this evening's stream is peace. Because seriously, this whole thing is freaking crazy. But we did successfully solder a ring this evening on the Beading Dream stream. I also neither broke my finger nor set anything on fire. So thank y'all so much for tuning in for the potential tragedy that didn't happen. So for anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Allison. That voice in the background is Heather. We are from Beading Dreams in Dallas, Texas. We're an actual brick and mortar retail bead store, and tonight we were teaching you how to make this one word ring. So thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. For our peace ring tutorial tonight, thank you, Lori, for the word suggestion. And don't forget, we'll be back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, tomorrow evening with our Freeform Friday tutorials. So if we are not snowed in here in Dallas, it's going to be a soldering demonstration tomorrow night. If we are snowed in, it's going to be whatever I can cobble together in my spare room. It's supposed to, okay, currently the weather forecast says it's supposed to snow for about 45 minutes in the mid-afternoon tomorrow. So I don't think that should affect our ability to be open. However, you know, it's Texas, so the forecast can change at any time. If the weather does
Lori,
shift,
it's not going to stick.
Oh God,
that's
no.
sweet though.
Yeah, no. Our snow is pitiable compared to Canadian
wind advisory.
Snow.
I do not have a snow advisory. Although now I'm having snowflakes at 12, 1, and 2, then 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, so
there's a chance.
There's a chance that we may be streaming from Beading Dreams Remote tomorrow night, which means we won't be doing a soldering tutorial, but I promise I got enough stuff in my house that I'll figure out something cool to do for y'all. So everyone have a fantastic evening. Sorry, now I finally have the stream sniffles, but yeah, everyone have a great Thursday evening. And if you are local in Dallas and you're planning to come and see us tomorrow, please call before you come in. If we don't answer the phone, if you get our voicemail, don't come in because we're probably not here. But we will, without fail, be back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, tomorrow at 6 p.m. with something fun for your Freeform Friday. Everyone have a great night, and we'll catch you later. Bye!